Coming up, we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes that you absolutely have to avoid, especially if you're a first-time app founder. Stay tuned. What is up, App Nation? It is Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.com, the YouTube channel, the podcast, the agency you go to when you want to increase your downloads and revenue. And today I've got a topic that I think is so important. It's one of the questions I get asked the most, especially for first-time founders. Look, the app space is a very complicated, difficult business to run. And so really understanding how to operate, especially in the early stages of your app, is so critical. And so joining me today is Chaim from B7 Dev, the app development firm that I've been working with since 2013, Chaim, to break it all down, some of the things from a technical standpoint, because Chaim has seen it for the clients he's worked with in building the apps, and from the marketing standpoint, that after Chaim's done building the apps for the clients, they come to us to help with the marketing. So we're going to break it down all for you today. Chaim, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Steve. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I am good, Chaim. All right, let's break it all down. Look,
Sure.
Chaim, the first we put these together, and I'm going to try this here with a little whiteboard with you guys. But Chaim, this is what I feel like is too many times people are trying to perfect their MVP and not paying enough time, just sort of like launch it. I feel like, and you talk about like trying to solve one simple problem. Like, why did you build the app? And trying to solve that problem too.
Correct. There is a problem today about perception. First time founders, they perceive that the product should be like a blue chip company. So they forgot about the simple truth. You need to solve one problem at a time. Okay. So your app, your first time app, or your second time app, or any app, you need to do is to solve one simple problem. You see today, no, my app is not that good because, I use Facebook app. And Facebook app is really complex, correct? But you can remember if we start to just mind about that, what Facebook did in the beginning. Facebook solved one single problem. You, as a mortal people, you don't have, most of the people, like 99% of the people of the world, they don't have their own profile on internet. Okay, before today, we understand that you can open your own page anywhere in I don't know, Instagram, that also belongs to Facebook, or into Pinterest or TikTok or whatever it is. But in the beginning, there was no way for you in 2 3 things, single steps, to open your own page in Facebook, in internet. Sorry, Facebook came, solved that simple problem. Then you can relate with other friends in order to stay connected and see what they are doing or what their lives are up to. One single idea. Google.
Yep.
Google is a very gigantic and huge company. What they solved in the beginning, the market or the people, the user in general needed a better search, no Google Drive,
Gmail. Yeah.
no anything. And even Gmail is just one better idea. There is a simple email with, in the beginning, 100 megabytes of storage. That's it. It's not that complicated. Your idea should be really clear, really simple, but well executed. Forget about the whole environment that should be working like those companies doing. They have like 20 years of life and you are just being born. So just focus, stay focused on one single idea, solve one single problem that the people has, and you will make it big later.
I like it. And I know what we've been trying to do too is we'll launch an MVP and we'll just see, and we're going to get to this point too, but for the marketing side, we'll just see if it sticks. So the screenshots weren't pretty. The app icon was decent. The paywall was not pretty, but we have a paywall, we have an onboarding, and then we have the main problem we're trying to solve and the main keywords. Because what Chaim said was, if you're trying to solve that one simple problem, your marketing becomes so much easier. You know who that target audience is. You know what that main keyword you're trying to go after is. So it makes everything else easier. And guess what, Chaim? When you're trying to solve that one simple problem, and you're doing it really well, they're more likely to pay you anyways. And that's what we've seen in the App Store. Like we're not looking for apps that do everything. Yes, there are some apps, and maybe that's the future. But right now, we do have apps that are good for this thing, good for this thing, good for this thing. And that's what I've seen with a lot of the apps that we work with too. Like they're okay with having 5 different apps that do that one thing really well. The other story I want to say, Chaim, and I'm so glad you're saying it too, because I think it means more coming from both ends. You're the technical side, I'm the marketing side. We had one client that was in the fitness space. We worked together in September, October timeframe. I said, we have to launch an MVP, trying to perfect your MVP before January, when the peak season for fitness. But he took too long. He was trying to do what you said, Chaim, right? He was trying to build all this gamification, all this other stuff. While important, gamification doesn't matter if you don't have users. So go get your users first. Be embarrassed by your MVP, and then go ahead and add on top of that as well. Shall we move on to number 2? And number 2, Chaim, is sort of like number 1. I'm going to write this down. We're gonna try something different. So that's adding too many features.
Yeah, as I always say, too many features, too much time, too much money. Okay, you don't have anything of that. So what you need to do again is to break this conception that you need to do it all. The minimum features, the M on MVP is for minimum. And a lot of founders, they misunderstood it for maximum. So the M is for minimum. Just limit to what the app should do and do it well. Okay, otherwise, just think about that. You need a lot of money to develop a lot of stuff that will take a lot of time. You need to reduce the money, you need to reduce the time, so you need to reduce the number of features. Again, back to number 1, focus on solving the original problem and then solve it well. Test it and test it and test it, but that works for this original solution, and then you can add, and even for marketing, and you are the expert on this field, that the more features that you release slowly over time helps you with the marketing a lot, because you are engaging the users over and over again with new features that they will like. Just imagine if you prepare a very battery of features that they will say no because they don't understand the app, because they don't know what to do first. Okay, if you release it over time, it will be easier for them to digest and to understand, and also to market the app.
You said it best. Too many features equals too much time equals too much money. And your goal as an entrepreneur is to sustain a business, not necessarily throw everything all at once and hope that it sticks. Like, you want to survive as a business, not like just build this and then go and, fail. Here's one app, Chaim, that I have experience with. We bought this app. Anyways, it was making about $1,000 to $2,000 a month. And with just changing the pricing, changing the paywall around, we were able to go from $1,000 to $2,000 all the way to $8,000 to $10,000 a month. No additional downloads. And more importantly, to your point, no additional new features. The product that was already, that's why I wanted to buy the app, was it was already ranking pretty well for some keywords. So it was getting organic downloads. And just by changing the pricing and the paywall around with no new features, by the way, we're able to generate one to 2,000 to 8,000 to 10,000, just like that. So, all right, Chaim, let me get into number 3. And my favorite topic, and one of the things I'm most passionate about is talking about this, is a lot of times developers focus too much on downloads. It's too much. Like, a lot of time, we have this case study of an app that was making $250 a month. So, okay, not big. Grew it to $1,000 a month. And why that $1,000 is so important is according to Revenue Cat, only 17% of all apps make at least $1,000 a month. So there's a lot of graveyard in the app store. Yeah. That's why Chaim and I are creating this video. We don't want you to join that graveyard. We don't want you to be a dead app. And so he went from $250 to $1,000 a month with just 15 downloads. That again is 15 downloads a month. So really, if you have some downloads, start playing around with the paywall, the onboarding, work with Chaim and his team. We can help you with what the onboarding should say, but really pay attention to that stuff.
Perception. Everything is perception. I mean, the people, sometimes they heard that you don't need to make money with your app, or everything that you need is download. Someday, eventually, over the rainbow, you will get a lot of money because someone will say, well, wow, you have a lot of downloads, so I will give you a lot of money as an investor. Or the people will start putting your bank account with money just because you are nice and dandy and you have a lot of downloads. The reality is very different. You need to monetize from the first minute to survive. Just surviving with an app is already a success. Okay,
Yeah.
so I will listen what the Steve says about downloads. I mean, monetizing the users that you already have and not trying to get just downloads for free. I mean, otherwise you are entertaining a lot of people for free.
And kind of like what you said too, on top of this was execution is key, right? Like, and execution also means, and sometimes time when I found with developers is they don't want to do the hard part. That's why they default to downloads, because the hard part is execution. It's figuring out what that simple big idea that you wanted to build on, and then looking at the data. Are people falling off? Are people like not subscribing? What are they doing within the app? And they don't want to do that hard part. They're just like, give me more downloads, I'll grow. And I'm like, you don't need more downloads to grow. You just need to pay attention to the app itself. Number 4 is too big too soon. And a lot of this is what you kind of talk about too, is to do your homework, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think what we found is we'll come up with a game plan because, like you just said, too many features, too much time, too much money. So for me, I feel like if you're a bootstrap, you can be slow and methodical, slow and cheap, or fast and expensive, right? If you're funded, go ahead, be fast and expensive. That's what they want. That's why you got the funding. But if you're trying to bootstrap it and use your own money, well, then be slow. And a lot of the big gaming companies that we work with, Chaim, they'll do a soft launch in a different country. They'll do it for like 6 months, perfecting it so that when they do a worldwide launch and they spend millions of dollars on a marketing budget, they've already figured out everything else. So do your homework.
Without knowing what you want to do and how you want to do and how much you want to do and what you want to do next or what you should do next, you won't survive a lot of time in the app industry. You need to plan, you need to know, you need to talk with people that they already knows this. This is where when Steve and I jump in, and then we guide you about what is the best next step to do. Another important point is you need to know and you need to budget beforehand everything that you will need to do. Okay. If you plan to go big from the beginning, you know that you will burn a lot of money, you will burn a lot of time, and then maybe you won't take in consideration some important aspects, or one of the most important aspect, that is marketing. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not because Steve is here. Take my advice. If you don't earn money for marketing, even if you have the best app, the coolest app, the best in the world, but no one knows that the app is out there, anyone will use your app. It's the same like having the best app and not publishing it into the store. Okay,
Yeah.
so you need to know that you will have to apply, to use, to work on some or invest in some kind of marketing wherever it is. In my case, first step, I recommend to talk with Steve. Okay,
Ah,
but
thanks.
it's not just Steve. You need to do marketing online, offline. It's another separate video to do about what to do as the first steps of marketing. Of course, that you are a follower of Steve's podcast, you will know very well what are the tools out there to take in notice, but you need to take marketing in account for sure, pre-launch, start to validating the idea, okay, start to get in early adapters in order to survive. You need to also feedback, etc., and all that you get it through marketing.
Thank you, Chaim, for saying that. That's why I like talking to you about these type of videos, because you see it from the tech side. And sometimes they come to me like, I spend everything on development. I'm like, okay, how do I help you? Right. And I put in here the product side too, because obviously sometimes I'll have products. I'm like, again, back to too many features or focusing too much on downloads and too big too soon. Obviously, the way I like to operate this is, Chaim, you did the product. You did a great product, right? And so now let's throw in the marketing. After we did the marketing, let's focus on what is happening now that we have the downloads. What's happening in the app? Do we need to fix the product? Because look, all the best marketing can't fix a bad product, right? All the greatest products need a little bit of marketing too, right? And
Yeah,
so they go hand in
don't
hand
agree
with
to
each
that.
other. And the way I like to do it is product, marketing, like a step-by-step process, and
Yeah,
pause in between each thing. So you fix the product, you run marketing, then you run marketing, figure out what the data says, and then fix the product. That's how I like to
correct.
do it.
Yeah.
I think we covered a lot of great content here. Anything else you see that we're missing from this whiteboard that we have?
No, just
Okay.
the last thing I can say is another saying is ideas are cheap, but execution is crucial. So everyone has ideas, good ideas, but you need to validate the ideas. You need to work on them. You need to do your homework, the planning, And then the execution should be really important here. Get to work on the idea, get to solve a problem, and then you will have a higher chance of success than not doing it. Between 0 and 1 chances of success, I would say 1.
All right, guys, that's it. Now, if you want to work with Chaim and his team, go check out his website, b7dev.com, b7dev.com. It's the letter B, the number 7, dev.com. And lastly, Chaim has a new YouTube channel that he wants you guys to check out. And he's going to talk more on the technical side of things and help you avoid the biggest mistakes that he's seen working over. I mean, I've only known you for 10 plus, 11 plus years, Chaim, but working with thousands, hundreds of clients and the biggest mistakes that they see, go check out his YouTube channel. I'm going to link it up into the YouTube description as well. But it is, if you just want to search for it, The Rational Startup. The Rational Startup is his YouTube channel. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this.
Thank you.